Good evening and welcome to
Monday Movie Madness. Wow, I screwed that up.
You want to try it again?
Yeah, let's start that over.
Good evening and welcome to
Monday Movie Madness with your hosts,
Mel and
Zim.
Hi guys. So we're doing some new stuff tonight, but before we get into that, we're going to start off while folks are coming in, talking about what other things we've watched this week. We're going to be discussing a Prairie Home Companion, but first, thank you for the follow. Let me turn my volume off. All right. We'll talk about the things we've watched this week. I'll go first because I'm usually faster than you at this. Because I talk a mile a minute. I also don't watch as much. So I have started 9 Perfect Strangers on Hulu. It's really interesting. I'm not really sure what's going on yet. I'm a few episodes in, but I haven't finished it. It's got a hell of a cast, though, and I definitely would recommend it. I also, as always, I watched a couple episodes of Doctor Who with my daughter. My son and I finally finished Harry Potter, the Goblet of Fire, and then I started watching She Loves Me, which is a musical starring Zachary Levi. It's available on Broadway HD if you have access to Broadway HD. Otherwise, I really didn't watch anything else.
Tonight at 8.
Tonight at 8, yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the songs. I will say, though, I should talk about some of the games that I played, though, because I do play games.
Yeah, you do play a lot of games.
So we played, of course, this past week. It was your birthday week.
Yes.
So happy belated birthday to Zim. But we played Sea of Thieves, the Pirates of the Caribbean storyline. We haven't quite finished it. I also introduced him on his birthday. No, I guess on Sunday. I introduced him to Operation Tango.
Yes.
Which he has mixed feelings about.
It was a little stressful.
It's fun. There's no penalties for dying.
That doesn't matter.
It should.
So it's a spy, a spy and
it's a 2-player
hacker,
game.
and one person's a hacker, one person's a spy, and you only see what you're able to see, and you've got to communicate with each other to tell each other what's happening.
One of us understood that as we went into different puzzles that we needed to describe everything we were seeing on the scene. And the other one did not seem to get that for a while. And then when he did, suddenly it went really easily. So, you know how it goes. I mean...
What can you do?
And then I started playing Hades, which is really fun. And then today I started playing No Man's Sky, which is definitely addictive. I have no idea how I played that game for 3.5 hours. And I'm still not done with the tutorial because I keep getting distracted by doing other things. But if you'd like to see No Man's Sky, I think we're planning on playing it during the game show tomorrow. We were gonna do Warframe, but then I got all addicted to No Man's Sky, so I think we're gonna do that instead.
Cool.
All right, your turn.
I
never have movies to talk about, so games.
Well, I watched quite a bit, a couple of TV shows even. Started off, I watched the movie Castle of the Living Dead. You think this is a zombie show? It's not. It's Christopher Lee is what was the word?
I don't know. Describe it.
He was like freezing.
Petrified.
He was petrifying people and animals in a castle. It was kind of neat. 60s Italian, I think, horror film. It was fun. Watched the classic He-Man Masters of the Universe with my son. Let's see. The Final Countdown, movie about the aircraft carrier Nimitz, made in 1980, went back in time to Pearl Harbor and has to decide, do we use our modern technology to destroy the Japanese or let history go the way it should? I watched The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. It's another Christopher Lee movie, and honestly, I can't really remember that much about it, so it wasn't that great. Return of Daimajin, so got some more samurai versus kaiju. And I watched in honor of Sonny Chiba, who died this last week. I watched Doberman Cop, which is a 70s police film. It was not very good. I watched Casper, A Spirited Beginning with my son. We also watched Hotel Transylvania one day, the first one. I don't say blah, blah, blah Love it.
Don't say blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah.
And then, last but not least, I watched Samurai Spy, which is a 60s Japanese samurai film that I got for my birthday. So.
Sorry, one more. Okay, sorry. I was just sharing the social media stuff while you were talking.
Woohoo!
Multitasking. Multitask. Lilu Dallas multitask.
She knows it's a multitask. Oprah calls it multitasking.
Hi, Eve. Hi, Tegwin. I didn't even see Eve pop in there.
Oh, yeah.
We had the other stuff happen all at the same time.
Yeah, it was like boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Ba-bam. So we're doing some new stuff today. So we just like to confuse you guys and give you guys extra stuff to do while we're busy yapping for an hour and a half. So we are actually doing contests now. So you didn't know this, but as you've been watching our show, you've been accruing points. If you'd like to know how many points you have, you can type !points, all one word, and it'll tell you what your point amount is at. And then we are going to run a contest where you can bet your points to try and earn more. And I think the question today is, do you remember what the next movie is going to be? And we have some options for you, and I'll take you through the instructions when we get there. There you go, Tegwin. Tegwin's got 215 sane thoughts. Sane thoughts is what we named our points. We thought it seemed appropriate.
Yes.
That's a lot of sane thoughts. I am impressed, Tegwin. That is fantastic. I am pretty sure I don't have that many. I'll have to check on break, but we know what the next movie is, so we're not going to participate in the contest today.
We're not?
No.
Oh.
It's cheating. Plus they'll see what you vote for. When you do it. Like when you bet your points, and we know the answer, so it would give it away.
Gotcha.
Hey, Melinda. So yes, again, just !points. It'll show you how many points you've accrued. We call them sane thoughts. And then I'm going to put the, I guess I could go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, go ahead and start it.
I'm going to put the contest up for you guys. Should go right into chat if I did this right. So there it is. So, do you remember what the next movie will be? And it didn't actually say the full name for each one.
Yeah.
So the options are Zombieland, Natural Born Killers, Hunger Games, and White Men Can't Jump. So the way you bet is you type !bet, space, how many points you want to bet, space, which of those words for the movie you think it is.
So zombie, killers, games, or jump.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think it's Zombieland and you wanted to bet, like Melinda has 15 sane thoughts. If you wanted to bet your 15 points, you would type !bet, space, 15, space, zombie for Zombieland, if that's what you wanted to vote for. Tegwin has done this before, so if she wanted to actually do it, it would be very helpful so that people can see what it looks like. Tegwin, please, if you wouldn't mind.
No.
No, she got it. Yeah, way to go, Eve. You got it.
Except that she did it for hunger, not games.
Oh, yeah, do games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, it said points. Oh, must be a whole number from 10 to 1,000. Yeah, Hunger Games is games, if that's the one you want to vote for.
Yes.
So it was almost right. So it bet 30 games.
Yes. Try it again.
Tegwin could do it. Tegwin has done it. So she could do it as an example, but she has this habit of like hoarding the points and waiting.
Why is it saying it must
be a whole number from 10 to, yes. What is she doing? I don't know what she's doing wrong.
Maybe it's because games is capitalized and you didn't capitalize it.
I didn't capitalize it. But it's saying it's the, not right now, I don't understand. 30, how many points did it say she had? She's within the points that she had, so she had 45.
Yeah.
See, this is why we're doing this at the beginning, to try to work. This is brand new. We just started doing this. Oh, okay. I did it in the wrong order. apparently I can't follow instructions.
Oh, okay.
So Eve did it exactly the way I said to do it, which was wrong. Sorry. Yeah. You're going to do exclamation mark bet, and then the name, and then the points. I had it backwards.
So if you want to do Hunger Games, do exclamation mark bet.
Games. Yeah, bait. I'm sorry, bets. Yeah. Exclamation mark bet, space, games, space, and then you can do your 30 points. I'm so sorry. I said it backwards. My mistake. I'm so sorry. Ignore everything I've said up till now. We're off to a great start tonight, folks. I'm going to help her through this bet. We can do it. Exclamation mark bet, space, games, space, 30, I think is what you want to do. Hey, there we go. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Okay, so Melinda was asking, she came in, why are we voting what for?
It's actually you're gambling your points, essentially, to see if you can remember what the next movie is that we're going to be doing next week. If you don't have to do it, it's just something kind of fun that you guys can engage with and then like win points and whatever. It's just something to do.
Yes.
And so we this week's question is, what's the next movie? We've got 2 votes for Hunger Games. You guys will find out at break time if that's right. Just before break, actually, if you are right. And I don't have the preview set up to go yet either. I have it locked, so you can't cheat.
Yes. Yes, how very excellent.
So it's not that we're voting, we're just like placing bets, because why not throw some gambling in on top of everything else?
So, hey, did you hear about that Viagra robbery?
I did not.
Yeah.
Have they found them?
No, but they're looking for hardened criminals.
Looking for hardened criminals. Ah, well done, well done. Oh, our spoiler thing isn't up. I need to fix the button.
There we go. Yep.
So the other thing we're doing differently is we actually got some feedback from one of our viewers that we thought was really helpful.
Yes.
He pointed out that we do tell you a week in advance what movie we're going to do. And he was like, you guys, the only time the show ever kind of seems to halt is when we're like, oh, but we're not into spoilers yet. We'll circle back to this later. And I thought it was really good feedback. So we're just going to do spoilers from the beginning. There's a spoiler warnings up. Spoilers warning up. I can put the S on the right word in that sentence. So we're just going to like go all in from here on and just talk with spoilers about the movies, because we do give a week's warning, give you guys an opportunity to watch it. And so we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
All in. Head first. So here we go. Oh, Prairie Home Companion. I am not going to read your synopsis. I'm just going to say my own.
That's fine.
Because if I read, it's going to sound like this while I am reading, and it's not going to sound like me at all.
That's fine.
It's Mel if she was a robot. This movie was released in 2006. It's rated PG-13. As you can see, I did click the right one. Go me. Basically, this movie is about it's like an old-time radio show that's like a variety show, and a Texas company bought out the station, essentially. So they're shutting the show down. And so it basically follows the show's final broadcast. And you've got a bunch of like quirky singers and performers, and all kinds of craziness happens because of all the quirky personalities. Just very over the top, really good sense of humor. And it basically is just the story of their last broadcast.
And it, of course, is based off of the actual radio show, A Prairie Home Companion, which was actually done by, what is his name? Garrison Keillor, I believe is how you pronounce it. Keillor is the last name. I knew it was Garrison. But he did the show for many years, so...
Who is GK in the show?
He's the main announcer guy singing with everybody. And
Oh.
he actually ran the actual radio show.
I did not know that.
He created the script.
So that's why they call him GK instead of Garrison.
Yeah, because the show ended in '99, but the movie wasn't made until 2006. 2006. And so he came up with this idea about making a movie based off of the old radio show.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's also books. They turned it, for many years, it was, they filmed the radio show being produced live on stage and put it on PBS as well. So it had a TV show too.
I can't believe they shut down the show then.
Yeah.
That gives you a lot of opportunity to watch it.
Yeah, and the show on TV, on PBS.
That's cool. You guys know more about this than I do. I know the movie, and I know it was a real radio show. Like, that was the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't research it further, so I have you for that.
Well, I remember listening to it and watching it when I was younger. So
cool. Very cool. It was nominated for 21 awards. It won 5, including Best Picture at various film festivals.
And I meant to put something else there. So the Japanese version of the Oscars, it won Best International Film.
Did it?
Yes.
Very cool.
Year. Yeah. So anyway, let's break down the cast and director overview. It was directed by Robert Altman. IMDb has him most known for Gosford Park, Shortcuts, The Player, and Nashville. Lily Tomlin plays Rhonda Johnson. She's best known for, according to IMDb, Nashville, Grandma, 9 to 5, and Shortcuts. 9 to 5 is great, but I can't believe they don't have, what's the show on Netflix that she's in that's huge? Or I know Eve watches it, did watch it.
Yeah, Tegma watches it too.
And then
what's the name of that show?
Grace and Frankie.
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
Or The Incredible Shrinking Woman, or let's go back to Laugh-In. I mean,
like, Lily Tomlin is amazing.
Yeah.
they IMDb picks some weird stuff, but that's why I like saying it's the IMDb most known for.
Like 9 to 5 is great. I love 9 to 5. Nashville is a good movie. But yeah, I was just shocked that was the choice they had. Anyway, Meryl Streep.
There's a theme tonight. Eve has seen the entire cast live.
Have you seen Meryl Streep live? 2 for 2. Did you see her make her Sophie's Choice? Meryl Streep played Yolanda Johnson, Lily Tomlin's sister. And she, according to IMDb, is most known for Out of Africa, great movie. August, Osage County, never saw it. Devil Wears Prada,
it's a good movie.
Her best performance, in my opinion, and Sophie's Choice, I'd never want to see again.
Devil Wears Prada is amazing.
Woody Harrelson plays Dusty. We will cover him later.
Talk more about him a little bit, yeah. Good old Dusty.
Yeah, John C. Reilly, who I also love, plays Lefty. IMDb has him most known for Chicago, Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't get because he's in it for like 30 seconds, Boogie Nights, and Stan and Ollie.
I wonder if they do it based off of how the movie's performed, because Guardians of the Galaxy made bank.
Yeah.
Even though he's not in it very long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's a notable role for him. In fact, I forgot he was in it until I saw it listed
here. Garrison Keller played GK. He is IMDb most known for a Prairie Home Companion movie, that we're talking about tonight, a Prairie Home Companion TV production of the radio show, which ran from 1986 to 1999. And then he also narrated part of The Civil War, a film by Kevin Burns. So the mega billion-hour documentary series on the Civil War that Ken Burns did. Kevin Kline. He plays Guy Noir. I mean, that name is just awesome, and I love how they play him.
He describes his character very well.
Yeah, I mean, he plays it just like
he's the one narrating the movie, and he's
dressed in the suit with the hat and sitting in the diner.
He narrates it like a noir movie.
Yeah, it's like it was a cold day when she walked in and had a t-shirt of Mount Rushmore. And IMDb has him most known for Wild Wild West, A Fish Called Wanda, Dave, love Dave, and French Kiss. Other notable actors you will see in the film are Tommy Lee Jones, Lindsay Lohan, Virginia Madsen, Maya Rudolph, Mary Louise Burke, L.Q. Jones, Tim Russell, and Sue Scott.
So Rhonda and Yolanda.
Yes.
Pretty much have all scenes together, so I feel like we could talk about them as a duo.
Yes.
You have the one little thing
there's actually an extra character I included in the characterizations, and that is that of the camera or the viewer, and it's only primarily important when you're talking about Rhonda and Yolanda.
Because of what I talked about when we were watching?
No, what I talked about when we were watching.
It's the same scene.
Okay.
It was a conversation. We were both talking about it. There were two of us. Okay. You weren't actually talking to yourself. I was right here.
But the camera... So there's no real story per se going on. It's just the camera is floating around the performances on stage and people doing their prepping backstage. So, and it's nothing is a still shot. The camera is always
it's
just
constantly moving, yeah.
And as people talk, it'll go back and forth like this between them. But
it doesn't really ever stop on anyone.
Yeah.
See, and that's what you said. And then what I said was that it's like you're in the room and you're following the conversation. This is how your head would move.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is what I thought you meant because you made it a character.
Yeah. What I liked specifically, so there's a scene where Rhonda and Yolanda are sitting in front of their mirrors in their dressing room, and they're both telling the same story about something that happened in their life at the same time, over top of each other. Mm-hmm. Different point of view and different storytelling style. Mm-hmm. And so...
so it's not in unison. You've got one person talking, the other... They're talking about the same thing, but they're saying different things about the same thing.
Yes.
And they're talking at the same time. The way that people often do it, you guys see us do it all the time on the show. And when you're very close to somebody, a lot of times conversation just happens all at once. And so it is... I kind of started the conversation about the camera, too, was the fact that I was this scene would have been really difficult to film.
Right.
Because, for the actors, they're talking at the same time, so they need to be both responding to what the other person is saying and saying their own lines, but keep the timing right because they need to hit the same beats in the story they're telling at the same time. So they got to talk at generally the same pace, but not really. And at the same time, you've got the camera kind of floating back and forth between each person as they're talking. Well, it's just that scene alone is if you're going to watch just one scene from this movie, that is the one.
But I'd also like to add that, so if one person stops, the camera will drift and actually show the other person. But then when they're talking again, the camera comes back to the center and is actually shooting between them at the mirrors, and you can see their reflections in the mirrors. Mm-hmm. So it's this really artistically designed shot where when they're both talking over top, at the same time, the focus is the mirrors. And then it will drift back and forth to show show them individually when the other person stops talking. And then you also have Lindsay Lohan in the room listening to the story. So it'll occasionally drift over and show her. And there are mirrors covering the wall, and then there's a bunch of little mirrors scattered throughout on the counter, pointed at different angles. And not once did I see the cameraman in a single mirror.
They would have had the camera mounted behind all of the clothes on the racks and stuff, kind of shooting down it slightly. But that's why there's so much stuff in that room, is to help allow them to make that shot.
But it was
so really props to the props and scene people as well, that they created a setting that they could pull off a shot. It's a really just in a lot of, I think in terms of just filmography in general, it's a really well done scene. And we both it's really early in the movie. It's pretty much right after they sit down.
Yeah.
They get there and they sit down and they start this conversation about, I think, Lindsay Lohan's dad.
Yes.
And so it's very, very early in the movie. But it's worth watching just for that scene because they do some really remarkable things, because with all the mirrors, you're always seeing everybody's faces.
Yeah.
Because you always see them reflected. And so they've been very, very smart about where the camera's positioned, the way the camera moves, where the mirrors are positioned, the way the room is set up in order to hide the camera so you're not catching it in the mirrors.
It's just brilliant.
It's a really well done scene.
And then they continue this kind of fly on the wall kind of experience with the camera. There's a scene later where Maya Rudolph and someone else, they walk into a room. It might be the two cowboys. They walk into a room together, and the camera, instead of following them through the door, it goes around the side, and there's no wall there. So instead of there being a wall, it's the camera watching them, so where the wall would be. And I just love that. Mm-hmm. It was so great.
So Rhonda and Yolanda are sisters. They have been singing since they were kids, along with their two older sisters, one of whom had some trouble with the law for stealing a think.
Yeah.
And one who I think just aged out of singing. I think she just decided she didn't want to do it anymore. Was sort of just I got. So it's just the two of them now. They've been on the show for a really long time. Lindsay Lohan is Meryl Streep's daughter in this. And so she's part of that kind of family dynamic.
And her father, who is now deceased, was the part of the family that owns the station, and he produced the show.
Was he part of the family that owned the station?
Yes. Yes.
Because I know that he and GK got together and they put the show together.
Yes. That's how he met him. And they kept saying, I can't remember what the name of the family was. Yeah, but they owned the station, and that was the connection because he saved him when he was hanging from a kite.
With his pants hanging down around his ankles.
Yeah.
So I guess because he passed, and then they're not keeping the station anymore because he was the one that...
Yes.
Okay, I got it. There. I swear I just watched this movie yesterday. But I think Rhonda and Yolanda are more of like the emotional part of the story. They connect to the things that are happening in more of an emotional way. And I feel like each character or duo, because we've got a couple of duos like Rhonda and Yolanda, sort of serve different emotions about the ending of the show. So you've got Rhonda and Yolanda who are the like emotional response, I think, and then you've got Dusty and Lefty who are kind of the comedy, and then you've got like GK that's sort of like the memory of it. He's got all the stories that he tells, and so like between all of them they create this sort of living entity which is the show.
Right. And there's a lot of symbolism dealing with endings, death, because it is the final show. So they're constantly, those themes keep coming into it.
Mm-hmm. But it's, in terms of characters, Rhonda and Yolanda are, think of like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And his daughters like are singing at a show or something like that. Like, isn't there a show at one point?
Singing spiritual hymns.
Yeah, and so it's that kind of stuff where you've got that old Western, old-timey, spiritual, kind of music they do, and I think that...
It's crossed between, like, country and bluegrass spirituals.
Yeah, I think that Tommy Lee Jones actually, like, has it right when he walks in and he's like, wow, it's like looking at a snapshot. From the past, because it's just, they're so out of place. Like, you feel like you're watching a period piece, and then someone will pull out a cell phone. Excuse me. Will pull out a cell phone. Or you'll see Maya Rudolph walk by with her stage manager headset on. Excuse me. I'll let you talk for a little bit. I want to drink something.
Okay.
Swallowed a bug or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so Tommy Lee Jones is the Axeman sent by the Texas company that's purchased the station. And he's sent to shut down the show. And he's kind of watching, and he walks in and he says, I feel like what is it that you wanted to be?
Anthropologist?
An anthropologist looking at the past. And I was like, that's really a neat way of describing it.
Because it really does feel like everything about it, my throat is so messed up. Everything about it just seems like a completely different time, and then every once in a while they'll show you some modern technology
or the audience
to kind of remind you.
When you see the audience like walking into the theater, or occasionally they'll do shots from behind of the audience in the theater, they have, modern haircuts and modern clothes on, but yet everyone on stage is very old-timey.
Yeah. So it's I enjoy the fact that like you sort of lose yourself in the time that they're sort of representing, and then they'll throw something at you to remind you of not really, this is modern day. Or modern day as it was when it was made.
Well, and like GK, when he's and he did this on the actual show, he would do fake promotions. This song was brought to you by
Duct Tape,
Country Biscuits in the Blue Box. Just old stuff, like things that seem like a simpler time, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Watching the show had that same anachronistic feeling, I thought. Yes. I agree. So I feel like Lefty is difficult to talk about without also talking about Dusty, because neither one of them have a scene without the other.
Yeah, they're a comedy duo.
They're a musical cowboys. Comedy duo.
Yes, who are cowboys.
They play like cowboys, just visiting from the ranch.
Yep.
And they have not necessarily the exact same sense of humor, but really complementary senses of humor. Mm-hmm. And so the joke that we opened with,
the Viagra joke
is one of theirs. Also, did you guys know that diarrhea runs in families? Did you know diarrhea runs in families?
It's hereditary.
Oh, sorry, it's hereditary. I ruined the joke! Damn it! Well, tell a joke.
Did you know that diarrhea is hereditary? It runs in your genes.
Fucked up the joke. My God. Oh.
I was looking at all of them today.
Yeah, you reviewed them. I'm trying to do it from yesterday.
I did like the one where they said that when God first created woman...
I was going to tell that one.
Okay, go ahead.
When God first created woman, she had 3 boobs. He decided it was too many, so he removed one and created man.
No.
Yeah. That was a joke.
That is the joke, but you didn't word it right.
I'm not going to do an exact quote. I'm telling you the joke. Right. I did not memorize the movie on one view.
But the punchline is, what do we do with the lifeless boob? And he took it and made man.
Oh, because man... I didn't even get the joke. I thought the joke was that man was made with the boob. This is what it's like being me, guys. I live in a different universe. I don't know what to... I get there eventually. Okay, I'm going to get one of these jokes right.
Okay.
What was another one? Because you looked at them again today. An easy one. Give me an easy one. I thought the diarrhea one was the easy one. I still screwed that.
Well, I like the Oli joke, but I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't.
Oli went to a neighborhood dance and won the special prize. It was a toilet brush. Yeah. And the very next week, one of the guys asked, "Hey, Oli, how's that toilet brush doing?" And Oli said, "It works all right, but I prefer toilet paper."
I have my own joke, not from this movie. I have a great joke. Can I tell my joke?
Tell your joke.
About the newt. So a man walks into a bar.
Oh my goodness.
With a newt on his shoulder. The bartender goes, "Hey man, that's a weird pet to have. What's its name?" He goes, "Its name is Tiny." And the bartender goes, "Oh, why is its name Tiny?" And the guy goes, "'Cause it's my newt."
Oh, that's the horse.
The horse?
Yeah, where is it?
He has it on his phone. It's cheating.
I can't remember it, but
I like my minute joke.
My horse is so smart. I've been teaching it physics, mathematics, but I just can't get it to learn philosophy.
You can't?
No, you can't put the cart before the horse.
All right, let's get back on track. So that's basically Dusty and...
What do you get when you cross holy water with castor oil?
What?
A religious movement.
Oh, my goodness. GK. We talked about GK, though.
We did.
We kind of talked about him at the beginning. Yeah. So let's talk about Guy Noir. We talked about him, too. Guy Noir is ridiculous. He does all kinds of Kevin Kline things, like falling over countertops and knocking over hat racks and running into walls and slipping down the stairs and lots of physical humor.
He was a private investigator who has no jobs to do in St. Paul, Minnesota, so he got a job with the radio show as basically security. He's a bouncer, but doesn't really do his job. He sits in his office most of the
time. He's like the worst security guard. He's so unobservant.
There's this woman in white walking around, and he's more infatuated with her than anything to figure out what's going on. And turns out she's an angel.
It's not the part of the movie I thought was good. Because it didn't make any sense with the rest of the story. Like, it just was weird. It was a weird addition.
I think that the point was they were trying to show, first of all, it was another angle of the spirituality of the show. But I think more importantly, the show was life. It is now dying, and then it's going to be reborn.
See, until she said she was an angel at the end of the movie, I thought she was death. And I thought, what a unique thing to have death wearing all white.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really clever. And then they were like, oh, she's an angel. I was like, oh, come on. Like, it made more sense because you have all these characters create like a living organism, and then it is ending, and so they're all kind of grieving the end of the show. It makes sense for it to be like the embodiment of death being there. Even when a character dies, she's there at his side. And so I thought for sure that was what it was going to be. And then it was an angel, and I was like, why does it need to be an angel? It can just be death.
Yeah. I think it would have made more sense if it were death.
I think it would have made more sense. So that's the only part of the movie that I really am just like, it just doesn't feel like it fits. And I know that they're following that same spiritual line that a lot of the music is, and et cetera. But I just, it felt out of place when everything else was more like symbolic. And then it's like, this is an angel. And it's just, that part was weird.
Yeah, I agree.
She's the angel of death. Although I guess she said she comes to people when they're grieving.
Yeah.
So not actually the angel of death. Like she makes it like she's there to ease them.
She's there to make people feel better.
Yeah. So she's not actually the angel of death. I think it made more sense.
But she did say she was there to take someone to God. And I thought she meant then the singer who passes away. Mm-hmm. But obviously she meant someone else.
Both. Because he did leave the letter for her. And so was it the singer and then she took somebody else because she was asked to?
Okay.
Or was she actually there for him in the first place?
See, I took it that she was actually there for Tommy Lee Jones the whole time. Because even when she first arrived, she's like, oh, well, things might change. And so they kind of leave you at the end of that scene thinking, oh, well, she took Tommy Lee Jones away. There's no one there to cancel the show. Everything's going to go fine. And then Guy Noir is like, nope, nothing changed. We still got tore down the next day.
Mm-hmm. That's the end of the movie, so you need to watch it. Spoilers. So in terms of plot, I feel like we've talked a lot about the plot. There's not a traditional like linear storyline. I sort of feel like the existence of the angel was sort of trying to create a more linear storyline where there isn't one, which may also be why, like for me, it just felt a little off because as the storytelling goes, it was more of like a day in the life sort of thing, and so you don't need necessarily like the plot is that it's the final.
Yeah,
production. Like, you don't need a more traditional storyline in there. It's unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, and I like I said, the whole fly on the wall aspect of the way it was shot, you really don't need a story because we're just observing the death of the show.
Mm-hmm. And you're just kind of gliding from, like, one person to another as it goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the whole angel storyline was extraneous. Like, it didn't need to be there. And I actually felt like in terms of pacing, I think those parts of the story really sort of like halted the momentum a lot. And it felt out of place. I actually felt that way a bit about Guy Noir as well. He was so funny, it sort of makes up for it. But a lot of his stuff just felt very out of place. It like almost like, well, we wanted to have Kevin Kline in the movie, and so we just let Kevin Kline be Kevin Kline, and we filmed it and worked it in. Like, it's sort of how, because it was very like slapstick, physical humor kind of stuff, which wasn't really, it didn't really fit with the rest of it. So the rest of the living organism, he was like an outsider essentially.
But he definitely was an outsider, mm-hmm. and he even says that like. he's not really part of it, but yet who is it that goes to Tommy Lee Jones to say anything you want to know about the show and was trying to push, hey, this is worth saving?
He wants to save it.
But he, throughout the whole show, is saying, I don't really have a connection to this. This is just a job for me. Mm-hmm. And then when they're getting ready to restart the show in a tour at the end, he's like, don't count on me, I'm busy. Mm-hmm. So he's an outsider, but
he cares about it.
It still means something.
I just felt like he was like the B-side of the Angel storyline.
Yeah.
And so, like, that storyline didn't really, like, it didn't feel like it fit for me. And so it sort of pulls him along with that feeling, where I feel like in a lot of ways, he didn't feel like he fit with it either. That said, some of the funniest scenes were scenes that he did.
Yeah.
Like, when he's like, "What? You're fat!"
Okay. Well, and the whole time, like... He just like grabs her shirt, doesn't ask nothing. She's standing there. It's Maya Rudolph. She's pregnant. He's just figured this out.
She's very pregnant.
Yeah, and he just like grabs her shirt and lifts it up and looks at her belly.
Like, you're fat. When did that happen?
When did that happen? Like, and he starts touching it. Like, no boundaries whatsoever. I'm like, wow, he would have been canceled in 30 seconds in today's culture.
He was like, you should really think about cutting back on calories. Or sex with men. It was a funny line. And then he's like to Dusty and Lefty. He's like, "Do you know about this? Yeah. Did you know? Like, how did this happen?" I think overall, I think that this was a really good movie. Definitely worth watching.
It was very funny. I think because for me, it had a really. I remember it playing at my grandparents' house. And so it was just one of those things that reconnected me to my grandparents, who I miss. So that was kind of cool. Had a nostalgia factor to it. Had some great comedy. Being one who's... I could have used a little less of the spiritual stuff, but that's okay. I mean, it's not like it's what the show was, so it makes a point. I mean, it makes sense.
That's why I didn't feel like you needed extra in there. Like it was already there and represented.
And I remember. So like, I know Yolanda and Rhonda, when they're talking backstage, they're not necessarily the spiritual goodies that they present on stage. So
yeah, it was part of the time period.
Sure, and I get that. And it was part of the original show, so it's fine. It's just that
there was a lot of it.
There was a lot. So. But the music was good. The singing was outstanding. I mean, I know Meryl Streep can sing. I thought some of the harmonies between her and Lily Tomlin were off, mostly because Lily Tomlin, who can also sing, so it was kind of weird. But I think it was just the characters or the style.
I think what you're picking up on is in the country style has a lot of like glist notes so if you don't know what a glist note is, it's like sliding in to the note. And so where you're hearing harmonies being off, the harmonies are actually on. It's the way that they're sliding into the notes is a little bit off.
Okay.
And so they slide at slightly different paces.
Okay.
So they arrive at the note a little bit differently. Like the notes that they need to be on, but they're arriving there at different times, and it makes it sound a little bit off.
Okay.
I think that's what you're picking up on.
But GK, I mean, he's always been a goofy looking guy. But he has that voice that's just, you hear him and you know that's the guy from that radio show. So.
Okay. So, toenails?
Oh, toenails? I'd probably give it 4 toenails. You?
Yeah, 4.5. I'd say 4.
4 toenails?
Yeah, let's not split a toenail in half. That would hurt.
Yeah, it hurts when you break a toenail.
Yeah.
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 And then they bleed, and then you got to worry about infection, and...
What did I do wrong?
What do you mean?
It says we have 40 minutes left.
I don't know.
Okay, I think I can just end it when we get there. Sorry, I was just checking on the contest to make sure I'd set it up right. And it says we still have 40 minutes left, so I'm not really sure what I've done wrong because I set it for 45 minutes and we've definitely been talking for almost that long. So I think I can just end it when I pick the winner.
Pick the winner, yeah.
Does it end it when I pick the winner? I'm going to wait.
I don't know.
I'll do it when we get to the break.
Okay.
Says 7 minutes left on yours. So is that the time elapsed?
Oh, maybe.
No, it's counting down.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's so weird. I don't understand. It's new for us too, so we're...
Pick me.
I make no promises one way or the other. We'll have to see who's right. That sounded kind of sing-songy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Do I need to do my little... So let's talk Woody Harrelson a bit. We needed to reorganize our show, Zim. I thought that's what you were doing because we changed spoilers.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot to take the spoilers section off. Sorry.
So, it needed to be reorganized, so it makes sense. So it's going to be a little, we're making changes, and every time you make changes, things go a little wonky, so...
Yeah. Okay, so Dusty. First of all...
Videography. So according to IMDb, Woody Harrelson is most known for True Detective, The People vs. Larry Flint, Natural Born Killers, and Zombieland. My personal recommendations are The Edge of 17, which we watched 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Shock and Awe, which we watched first. We watched that last week of July. The Hunger Games trilogy, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which was amazing.
Uh-huh. I recommend Natural Born Killers. White Men Can't Jump. I still have Solo on there. I may rethink Solo being on there because while it is Star Wars, he really isn't something to brag about in that.
It's been an educational month, hasn't it?
Yeah. Game Change, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and of course Cheers.
So let's talk about Dusty, who he plays in this movie. They actually are, I think, the first conversation that happens in the movie is him and Lefty in the dressing room, and he's making a penis joke.
Yes.
So he won me over right off the bat. So his character's great. I love crude and lewd humor. It cracks me up. Because I'm still, in terms of sense of humor, 16.
Well, and then
humor did not mature.
I he then turns to GK and says, "So how long have you been doing this?" And he says, "What? Pulling my pants on?"
Yeah, he was like putting my pants on or the show. And it's like the show. But he and Lefty together. No, he's Lefty. No, he's Dusty.
He's Dusty.
He and Lefty together are basically the comic relief for the show. They're very, very funny just in their general interactions off stage, but also the songs they sing on stage are absolutely hysterical. In fact, I would even argue that the soundtrack is worth purchasing just because of their songs.
Put it on my Spotify.
So I know you've been listening
already.
On Spotify. Yep. Which is why he knows the jokes better than me. I remember the gist of the jokes. He's listened to them a few times. But he, I enjoyed this performance because this is different than some of the others that we've done, where we've done a lot of more serious roles, and even on Edge of 17, he's a little bit of a wry sense of humor, but it's still overall a dramatic role with a dark sense of humor to it. Whereas this was comedy. His role in this is funny.
I mean, even when there's a serious moment with the two of them. When Guy Noir comes along and finds out from Dusty and Lefty.
Yeah, Lefty and Dusty.
That there was an older singer had passed away in his dressing room. They still kind of, I mean, while they looked disappointed or upset about the passing, there was still like this play it for laugh type thing, like attitude with them.
Yes, I agree.
So,
but it's nice. He's done a lot of comedic things in his career, but it was nice. We hadn't really done any of them this month, and so it was nice to include one of the funnier roles, just to remind you that he's a really funny guy. And pulls off just the ridiculous. He's able to crack absolutely ridiculous jokes and keep a total straight face. So he plays it straight.
I wish we could have done White Men Can't Jump. We will do it when we get to one of the other actors. But anyway.
I'm going to go ahead and pick the winner just so it doesn't like... See, time left 0. Did that just end it when I did it? There we go. That's what it is. When I pick the winner, it ends it. So now we know. Maybe that's why I have the extra time. So if you guessed Hunger Games, you won! Hooray! Because next week we're doing Hunger Games. I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on so I can close these windows because it drives me nuts having everything up. You can keep talking.
All right. She's closing a window. You can now type the exclamation point next movie.
When we go to break, don't do it yet. Because it'll open a preview for you. Sorry, Melinda. You're like, pick me. And I'm like, the decision's already been made. So sorry.
No. Although I definitely could have done some Woody Harrelson and Emma Stone and...
We talked about doing Zombieland.
Yeah,
it was one of the ones we looked at, but we wanted to have a variety of types of roles to do, and so then Hunger Games.
Yeah, I would disagree with that statement completely.
Zombieland is good, but it's not better than Hunger Games.
No, pretty much just because Jesse Eisenberg's in it.
That's not his name. His name is Dickface.
Garfield, maybe?
But I would say, I guess I've compared to the other characters. That was the next thing we were going to do.
Yeah.
So I think we're pretty much there. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and set us to break a couple minutes early. Yeah, I'm going to set us to break a couple minutes early. You guys get up, stretch your legs, take 5. If you type exclamation mark next movie, all one word, no spaces, exclamation mark next movie, it'll pop up a link that you can follow to watch the preview for the next movie if you're not familiar with it. Or even if you just want to watch a really amazing preview, because this preview is like blood rushing kind of good. I got my heart pounding. I was like, wow, they did a great job publicizing this movie, because it's hard. It's going to be really loud on the microphone. It's a well done preview. We don't always get those, so this one worth watching. But exclamation mark next movie. If you guys don't do it, I'll get up and do it once I go to break. We'll see you guys.
Last week's movie won best trailer for summer blockbuster.
See you guys in 5 minutes. Get up, stretch your legs, refresh your beverages, and we will see you shortly. And we are back. Hello. Nanu, every time. All right, guys. We're back from break, so we're going to start with the family rating portion of this show. This movie is rated PG-13. It should be rated PG-13. It's a fair bit of language, lots of smoking.
Some drinking.
Is there drinking?
Yep.
I guess they have like champagne or something, right?
Yep.
But there's a lot of lewd humor that is not appropriate for all ages. So, as always, preview it first. I'm like, are you going to say this with me? Because you were frozen. He was petrified. But, yeah, I definitely preview it because if your kid is old enough to handle those jokes or you're comfortable having those jokes repeated in your household, you're good to go. My kid's not old enough for those jokes. They wouldn't even get them, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we were discussing them at lunch today, and they were like, I don't understand. In fact, I had to explain the Descartes joke to our daughter because she didn't understand why everybody was laughing. She's like, what's so funny about the horse? I'm like, it's not the horse. It's Descartes. I had to explain who Descartes was. It was educational. It's an educational moment. Thanks to Prairie Home
And the fact
Companion.
that there's a saying,
don't put the horse before the cart. Yeah. No, don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
I say it backwards every time. So, yeah, I don't really know that there's anything in particular that you need to watch for, aside from the fact there's some lewd humor and some, like, the smoking and drinking. There's no drugs that I remember. It's pretty much just the lewd humor, I think.
Yeah. Was there language?
There's some language, yeah. A little bit.
But not like...
It's PG-13 level language,
no.
It's what you typically get in PG-13. So, would you agree?
Yes.
With what I'm saying? Because I'm just, talking and
no, I totally agree. Like, it's not... I don't think kids would even get it.
No. But you're gonna have that magical age where they do get it, but they don't know that they shouldn't repeat it. So my kids are 4 and 6. Those jokes go over their head. Give it another 4 years. And my 6-year-old will then be 10 and she will absolutely get the jokes. But although maybe she won't because I missed a couple.
I could see my oldest saying some of those jokes in school, junior high.
Yeah. So, remember, you want to set your kids up for success. Don't set them up to go and get detention at school. So if your child is old enough to understand proper place and time, then you're good to go. But if they are a child that still repeats everything they hear and doesn't understand that saying certain things to certain people is very rude or hurtful or offensive, you may want to give it some time, but give the movie a watch. It's worth your time, and then make the call from there, because every kid's different. Yeah. So we missed anything that you wanted to talk about in the show? I know we added spoilers at the beginning, so we don't have to circle back. Yeah. So we kind of go through it a little bit faster now, because we're not having to talk about everything twice.
Yeah.
So we've actually, just on break, came up with a new plan. All kinds of changes happening, guys. But beforehand, I do feel like there was one scene that we forgot to talk about that we were both laughing our butts off at, which was the sound effects scene.
Oh, yes.
With the guy that does sound effects.
The Foley artist,
because the script for the ad for duct tape was misplaced. And so they just start riffing, essentially, trying to fill the time. It starts off with GK doing things that are perfectly reasonable uses for duct tape, just quick fixes to hold things together, etc., etc. And then it escalates from there when Lily Tomlin starts participating in the conversation. Suddenly there's a Rottweiler and a peacock and a mailman.
Yeah.
And then Meryl Streep's character joins in, and the poor guy doing the sound effects is just constantly just having to every single thing making sounds for except for the one what did she say about the peacock, that its beak glistened like a scimitar?
Yeah.
And he just kind of went,
what?
What? But it's there's all kinds of just interesting humor included in the movie that I think makes it Like, yes, it's about the end of something, but they approach it in such a positive and enjoyable way. It just makes it fun. Lots of good humor. Lots of moments where you laugh. I didn't cry in this movie.
No, I laughed a lot.
Yeah, but it was funny, and it's a different. This movie has a different feel.
Yeah.
Than I think any of the other movies that we've done on the show this far.
Yeah.
It's got a very different feel in general. Again, because we talked about like the camera work and stuff, it just makes it feel very much like you're there, and that you're observing it live, and sort of experiencing everything as it happens around you.
It's almost like a true art expression of film, rather than just a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an interesting view, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
It was quite stimulating.
It was quite enjoyable. So we were thinking, because our show is on Monday, I think next week we're going to try to get through all the movie talk before break time, so we can come back after break and chat about life, because it's Monday, it's the beginning of the week. So tell us, guys, how was your week last week? Did you do anything incredible? Did you have anything great happen? And what do you have coming up next week? What's happening this week? Give us a clue. Any tiny victories to celebrate from last week? I have one. I have a tiny victory. I love my tiny victory. It was huge. So while you guys are thinking and putting stuff in chat, and we'll read it out and we can talk. My tiny victory from last week. So one of my absolutely massive triggers, even though it has no logical reasons to why, but one of my triggers for panic attacks, because I have agoraphobic panic disorder, which I guess I haven't mentioned this show. I have mentioned in the past. One of my biggest triggers is the grocery store. For some reason, and I've never quite figured out why. I think it's just too much sensory input just overall. You've got lots of lights, lots of smells, lots of sounds, tons of faces. For me, faces are a problem. Like the more faces of strangers there are, the more anxiety I deal with. Grocery stores tend to be a guaranteed panic attack, but we went to pick up Zim's birthday cake, and I went with him into the store because it was his birthday, and it felt bad that he had to go pick up the cake by himself. So I went with him, and totally no panic. I was in the store for maybe 5 minutes, but still no panic attack. That's my tiny victory.
That was awesome.
Go me.
No,
it was stressful, and I definitely had to breathe a bit when I got back to the car. There was a couple minutes of me just sitting there going.
But no panic attacks, no meltdowns.
Made it, yeah. And then I managed stress for the rest of the day because it was bad. Saturday was rough. We had lots of things go wrong on Saturday.
It's been pointed out to me within this last year that
you're old.
Happy
belated birthday.
That because I don't know if it's my bipolar thing or what, but I tend to decide something's going to go a certain way, and when it doesn't, I get very frustrated. Mm-hmm. And so quite often on special days like birthdays, I have a meltdown. So
not just his birthday, anyone's birthday.
I really... this was the first event like that since it was brought to my attention, and so I made it through the whole day without a meltdown. I was really focused on keeping things positive, and if it wasn't the way I envisioned in my head, that's okay. So
the trick here is to not envision in your head.
That is going to be a lot more difficult.
But it's not. I want to point out, it's not just your birthday though. It's any birthday, because pretty much every birthday I've had since we've met, there has been drama. And it's usually because something has not gone the way you anticipated.
I'm never bacon wrapping scallops on my own again.
Yeah, that was not this year. That was last year. Last year he tried to make me this beautiful meal, and it was delicious. I don't care what they look like; they still tasted good.
Okay.
They were really good.
Okay.
But he was making bacon wrapped scallops for the grill, I think, right? And then he ended up baking them in the oven instead because they kept falling apart. And so he was very, very frustrated. By the time we ate dinner, he's like, "I'm sorry it sucks, but here's dinner." And I was like, "Dinner looks beautiful. It smells delicious. It tasted wonderful. Like, it was a really, like, fantastic restaurant quality, like, nice restaurant quality meal made at home, fresh, to my specifications, because I got to pick absolutely every item that was on the menu. And so I think we had, like, mussels or...
No, that was this year.
I didn't do mussels this year. What did I do for my birthday this year?
No, we did mussels for Mother's Day. For your birthday, we did...
We ordered crab for my birthday, didn't we?
We ordered crab.
I didn't make you cook because last year was bad. And I think I said probably like 20 times over the course of the meal that it was delicious. And I couldn't convince him. And I reached a point where I literally went, are you just like going for praise at this point? Do you want the praise? Is that why you won't listen to me when I say it's really good? Like, you're just like begging for me to pat you on the back some more? And he was like, no, it all went wrong. But it didn't. It was delicious. It just didn't go exactly the way he planned, which was grilled, not baked, but they were very good baked. So.
And so you all
it's
know.
Every birthday. So
I've become quite the food maker guy in the house.
He is.
So
not always by choice.
But I most of the time I enjoy it. I like
the tacos.
Experimenting
He
with
made
food.
tacos tonight with blue corn tortilla or blue corn shells.
Yeah.
They were very good. The tacos tonight were really good. Like, even my mom was like, I usually only eat one of these, and as she's like filling her third, because they were really, really good tonight.
Good.
It's tasty stuff. No, he is. He's a really good cook. I'm not. Well, I'm good at it. I just
You're good.
hate
She just
doing
hates
it.
to do it. So,
I
but I like
hate
to
it.
cook. I like to bake. I like it all. I just enjoy it.
I'm glad, because I do not.
It's kind of zen-y for me.
It's not for me. It's so stressful to cook.
I owe you a taco dinner with margaritas.
Ew, margaritas. Okay. I don't drink margaritas.
All right.
Let me tell you about when I had margaritas.
Next time I see you, we'll do that. That's fine.
So what about you guys? I'm still waiting. Nobody
shared
has shared. What are some things you guys did last week? What do you got coming up this week? This is conversation time. Fill us in. Let us know. It's Monday. How's your Monday? Did you survive? It's over. You made it. It's mostly over.
There was a post I tagged Mel in.
Oh, don't tag me and stuff. I mean, you can. I won't see it because I'm never on Facebook.
Yeah, we kind of...
I'm looking. Hold on. Mentioned me in a comment. Oh, I owe her a Mexican dinner.
Oh, okay.
If you have a sister-in-law and she doesn't comment on this, in 1 hour she owes you a Mexican dinner and a margarita. No tagging allowed. No tagging allowed, and then she tagged me.
Yep.
It was 2 days ago. Yeah, I think I missed the 1 hour. Yes, I actually don't drink margaritas because I almost died from drinking margaritas, and so literally the smell of them makes me want to hurl. But
yeah,
we can.
I can definitely make you tacos.
There's always tacos. We're big fans of tacos. We can do something other than a margarita. That'd be great. I'm actually really good at bartending. That I don't mind doing. I can cook up cocktails. There you go. He cooks the food and the stuff that doesn't kill you slowly over time, and I cook the poison.
Let's see. Went to Stillwater, Minnesota, and also to a concert in the park. Cool.
Oh, who was playing? Was it like a symphonic concert or was it a band? Yes, tacos. So many tacos. I love tacos.
We were talking, I was trying to explain what a Choco Taco was to my daughter today. And she just...
Do you guys know what Choco Tacos are?
I know Melinda does.
Okay. Say they had them up there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Taco Tico used to have them for a while.
Oh, that's right. You told me Taco Tico had them. Yeah.
Local Iowa... Iowa.
Did Sheryl Crow music.
Group did like Sheryl Crow. Oh, cool.
Very nice.
I like Sheryl Crow.
What about you, Tegwin? What'd you do this week? I definitely don't know.
So all I want to do is have
Anything
some
you did
fun until the sun comes up.
Also, what do you guys have come up?
Santa Monica Boulevard.
Let me try that again. What do you guys have coming up this week?
Or did you guys see any good movies or shows that you'd like to share with us?
Ooh, interesting.
Obviously, I know Melinda doesn't, but
she doesn't have any shows?
She doesn't watch TV.
This is going to be such a 21st century question, but if you don't watch TV, what is it that you do all day? I mean, it's not that like you have to watch TV all day. I'm just like, how do you go literally all week and you never sit and watch TV ever?
She doesn't do it.
I mean, to each their own. I'm not judging. I'm genuinely curious. What is it that you do instead?
Let's see here.
You fill your own time doing what? I watch the paint peel from the ceiling. No, it's part of how I decompress. Is I watch like I'll veg out for the TV at night. Let's see. Tegwin says she had her granddaughter read 6 books. Yes, 6 books in one sitting. It was impressive.
Eve said she went to Respect.
I don't know.
How was it? Cleaning and repainting my room. Cool.
Nice.
Respect is Respect is the new movie with Jennifer Hudson playing Aretha Franklin.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, I want to see it. I can't.
She's a good pick for Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha.
I can't talk tonight. Like I'm putting the S's on the end of the wrong words when I speak and say a sentence.
She said it was great. So what color did you paint your room? Aretha picked her to play.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I mean
she's a really good pick.
Yeah.
Miss Tint Yellow. Good brand on sale. Yellow. You have a yellow room. Did you know yellow is my favorite color? Fun fact, yellow is my favorite color, but not a color that I can wear, so you will never see me in it because it makes my skin look green. Really, not exaggerating.
But green on her looks
But green fabulous. Looks fantastic. It's the Irish in me. Because it's that green. That green looks good on me. Like the nice, just green.
Oh, you got someone's mistint. Oh, I get it.
I got someone's mistint. I don't get it.
So someone...
Oh, someone like messed up?
Yeah, it wasn't... I'm assuming it wasn't the exact color they needed, so she was able to get it cheaper.
Oh.
Because she took a mess up.
In a good brand. Got it. We have caught up.
Awesome.
I can communicate. Good.
I has cheeseburger. Please.
I can has cheeseburger. Do you remember that website?
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes.
Back in the day, for the young ones out there that may watch this someday on YouTube. Back in the dark ages of the internet, there was a website called I Can Has Cheeseburger, and the entire website was nothing but pictures of cats and other cute animals, mostly cats, with chat bubbles. But instead of S's, there'd be Z's, so the words were always written in interesting ways, like I Can Has Cheeseburger, instead of Can I Have a Cheeseburger. So like you'd mix up the grammar and mix up the word order and the spelling, so that you could still tell what it was saying, but sound like a cat. Or apparently that's what we all think cats sound like now. I'm pretty sure our cats always were plotting our demise. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Except for Syria.
Yeah.
Syria was plotting my demise, but she would have raised my child as her own.
She looks for bargains. She locks for bargains.
There's supposed to be an O there, and you know it.
I know.
Don't be a jerk just because it's your mom. Where are we at? Okay. So we got about 10 more minutes. So there is some like womp womp stuff to discuss. It won't actually affect this show. But a week from Wednesday, there is, I forgot what it's called. It's a day off Twitch, I think is what it's called.
Day off Twitch, yes.
So what is happening is, and we'll rate at the end so you guys understand what that is. But on Twitch, when you finish streaming, you can raid another channel, which basically means you transport the people watching your show to somebody else that you want to support to help introduce you guys, for example, to another streamer that you may enjoy. But what is happening right now is something called hate raids, where people are raiding accounts that are associated with tags like LGBTQ+, anybody with the black tag, anybody with like anxiety, mental health tags. Basically, marginalized groups and disabled groups are being targeted by these hate raids, where they get tons and tons and tons of people together and they go raid a channel, and then they just spew bigotry,
Nazi propaganda.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Horrible.
And Twitch, as a company owned by Amazon, is doing absolutely nothing about it. And it's not their problem, according to them, while simultaneously taking more money from their streamers than any other streaming platform, and not providing them protection in return. So a lot of streamers who do have subscribers are asking their subscribers to please move their subscriptions and their financial support to other services such as Ko-Fi or Ko-fi and Patreon, which if you guys want to support us, we have both a Ko-Fi or Ko-fi. I'm never really sure how to call it. I think it's supposed to be Ko-fi, but it's short for co-finance. But we actually have a Ko-Fi and a Patreon. So if you'd like to support us financially, you're welcome to do that. Those links are on our About page. But a lot of streamers are trying to move the finances away from Twitch. And then a week from Wednesday, on September 1st, there is a day off Twitch movement where everybody supporting the movement is going to not stream. We don't actually stream on Wednesdays traditionally, so for us that means that we are going to take both Tuesday and Thursday off of the game stream. It does not affect this show, but we did want to make you guys aware of kind of what's going on out there, because it's part of the community that we're a part of, and it's our friends, it's our network, it's the people that we support that are being targeted, and we are still very, very small. We haven't really attracted that kind of attention, so we're relatively safe. Yeah. But a lot of the people that we care about and we support are being targeted by these groups, and so we will not be showing our game stream on August 31st and September 2nd. On social media for those 3 days, you will not see clips. You will just get the hashtags and a reminder that this is going on, because Twitch needs to do better. And I would encourage you, when you see those, please share them with the hashtags. So like share them, and then like, you know how you can like share somebody else's post but then also post stuff yourself. Please include the hashtags in your posts as well, and you'll see them in ours, because the more people do it, the more it's going to get noticed, and then maybe we can kind of evoke some kind of change here and protect people that need it. And then, you know, someday us, when we have a larger following than we have right now. We're so tiny right now, and it's cool because we don't have to worry about stuff like that. But we want to help the people that are being affected by it. So there you go. That's my little soapbox. I'll mention it again next week so that you guys are reminded that that's going to happen both on social media and on our channel. But for today's show, we're pretty much coming up to the end. You guys will get to experience a raid in just a moment, because I've written tons of notes here, because we forget week after week after week to raid. So I don't know if you can see. Oh, you really can't. No. But I have it written like in huge letters here, like 3 times to remember to raid. Especially if Zerjester's still on, I'll send you to him because he's really cool. He's usually a crafter. Tonight he's playing Hades, but usually he makes statues, essentially. Out of all kinds of interesting things. So he just makes, like, he'll make miniatures, or he'll make like these little set pieces. I've seen him do a dragon, which was insane. He did this like whole bust of a dragon that was like bonkers good. But he's essentially a sculptor and a crafter, and I love watching his streams because he's just very, very good at it. But next week, we're doing the Hunger Games, as you guys saw in the contest. And that will lead us into our next actor for September. Our September actor is a male, has a star on Canada's Walk of Fame in Toronto, is vampire adjacent, and played a woman in his first film.
Yes.
So that'll be our contest next week, that you can gamble your points trying to guess who it is.
All right.
For our September thing. I'll let you last two things because I've been talking for a while.
So, Movie Madness.
This
show, us. We are here Mondays at 8 p.m. Central. Join us each week. Also, Mad Misadventures, Mel and Paul play games live Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central.
Yes, and we are playing No Man's Sky tomorrow. I need to fix my button so that you can see our schedule without it getting rid of our voice. But I am going to go ahead and raid so you guys can see what that looks like. He is still on. Again, usually he's doing crafting, so it's worth following him if you want to see somebody make some incredible sculptures. But tonight he's playing a video game, Hades, which I've actually become a little addicted to myself. I finally got access to it. He's much better at it than I am. But I'm going to go ahead and raid, and you guys can enjoy it. Have fun. Something went wrong. Try running that quick action again. Cool. First time I remember to raid, and it goes wrong. What am I doing wrong here? Why?
Maybe he's got raids blocked?
He never has raids blocked.
But right now he may have raids blocked.
Oh, he might. Can you block raids? I don't know if you can block raids. Because that would be like an easy solution.
Yeah.
Let me refresh here. Let's see if I'm... that's why.
Why?
There we go. Because I changed who I was logged in at.
Okay.
I bet it'll work now. See you next
time. Week. Same mad...
Nope, still isn't.
Same mad time, same mad channel.
All right, we're just going to go out the regular way. Sorry the raid didn't work. I'm not really sure how to make it happen. So take care, guys. Have a great week. We will see you next Monday.